Alright, horror fans, welcome back to... What's that noise? What's going on?
Hey, wait a minute, this ain't the right place or time. Where the hell am I?
Who is that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, the sound's coming in. Where's that coming from?
Well, this thing does work.
Who are you?
I'm you. Yeah, I'm Future Dave.
What?
Just shut up and listen. It's very imperative you stop Horror Month for this review and review the 13th Doctor.
But it's horror.
I know, I'm trying to tell him, just be quiet for a minute. It's very imperative. The time continuum is about to break, and the only way you can save it is to do this review.
Okay, time continuum, wibbly wobbly, I get it.
I might be back, because this whole month there are episodes of Doctor Who that you're going to have to review. So we're just going to have to stop in the middle of Horror Month to do this, because it's that important. You have your instructions, now get to it. Start reviewing the 13th Doctor season right now. Yeah, I gotta go.
Alright, well, looks like we are going to take a pause for Horror Month to review the first episode of Doctor Who this season with the brand new 13th Doctor. That's right, we are on Doctor number 13, and it's being played for the first time ever by a woman, Jodie Whittaker. So when I heard the news, I was like, oh man, that's awesome, that's exciting, you know, I can't wait. All those real Doctor Who fans, they go, oh, they just ruined Doctor Who, I'm not going to watch it anymore, blah, 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 they're going to have a woman play Doctor Who, that's not her. Well, those are not real Doctor Who fans. I hate to tell them, but sorry guys, bye. So for the rest of the actual real Doctor Who fans, welcome to the review for the first episode. Now, if you want to know anything about me and Doctor Who, go back and watch a video I made of how I became the Doctor Who fan, and you will understand everything. That's not to say I've seen every single Doctor Who episode in existence, from the old one up until the new season, but once this new season started with the new Doctors, I've seen all of them. For some reason, I have never reviewed a Doctor Who episode. So I decided this is the season that I'm finally going to start reviewing the Doctor Who. Plus, it has something to do with the time continuum. I don't know what that was. Okay, and I'm also going to say that I can't review a TV show without spoilers. So if you haven't seen this episode, don't watch this if you don't want spoilers, because I can't continually talk about a TV show and not talk about the TV show and what's happening without spoilers. So what I was told was in the UK they actually showed the opening sequence to Doctor Who, which that's always something really I'm excited to see. The new graphics and the new sounds and the new theme song. It wasn't here. There was no theme song. There was no sound. There was nothing. But apparently in the UK, I think they showed it during the credits. When it was over, they showed the whole thing. Here, we didn't get to see it. I did hear the theme song finally, and it sounds great. But I haven't seen the opening sequence. I'm hoping episode 2 we get to see that. So I am going to be brutally honest here with this review, because as a big Doctor Who fan as I am, I'm not going to sugarcoat this stuff. I'm not going to gloss over it and say, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, unless it is the greatest thing ever. Then I will say, hey, this is the greatest thing ever. But as for a Doctor Who fan, I feel as if I need to express my actual feelings to the show of what it's about, the way it was presented, the actors, the story, the monsters, all that. So you're going to get it all. Okay, so episode 1, we get introduced to a bunch of new companions. And that was something I was kind of wondering about. We got a new female doctor. Is she going to have a female companion? Because all the doctors, well, not all of them, but most of the doctors have had female companions. I mean, some's had male and female. But for the most part, it's been female doctors since this new show has started. So I'll get to that in a minute. But the actual story here starts with this guy trying to ride a bike. And he has some sort of equilibrium that he can't get right, and he can't ride in a bike or anything like that. He'll just fall off of it. Which I thought was a pretty cool character development they have for this character. I don't think I've seen that before. I think it's pretty. It'll come in, I'm sure, in some other episodes as an important element of the episode. But he ends up getting mad. He throws his bike off the hill, and he gets down there to get his bike, and he sees this weird contraption show up in the middle of space, just in the middle of the air, and he starts hitting buttons and whatnot. And all of a sudden, this big spaceship shows up, and it kind of looked, to me anyway, it looked like a big gigantic candy kiss right out there in the middle of the forest. So he freaks out, doesn't know really what to do. He goes to the police, and he finds out one of his friends, longtime friends, is a police officer now. And right off, I can tell you right off from the beginning of this episode, the writing is so much better this season already. Stephen Moffat is not writing these episodes. Now, he was a great writer, but I think he kind of ran his course and he was just getting burnt out. And you could tell he was just, the episodes weren't as good as they used to be anymore. Except for last season. I still think last season with Peter Capaldi is one of the best seasons they've ever had in Doctor Who. It was a phenomenal season. And it was a good season for him to leave off on. You know, Stephen Moffat did a great job last season. A couple seasons before that, not so much. But the writing here is really sharp, it's really good, and I could tell right off it was somebody else working on the show. So we finally get introduced to the new Doctor, and they are on a train, and she just kind of like falls through the ceiling of the train and shows up. And there's this big, like, weird squid-looking thing. It was like a ball of tentacles that was floating around. Pretty cool effect. It was a really interesting monster. Really haven't seen that before. We get back to the thing that falls down to Earth, and this guy takes it and takes it to his warehouse or wherever it is he's living. It opens up, and a big robot-looking thing comes out, kills him, and starts going on a rampage, starting to kill all these people. Now, this is a point where it started to, for me anyway, become a little too much like Predator, because it was basically the Predator storyline. Here we have an alien that's come down to Earth who is looking for a specific person. Well, in this case anyway, he's looking for a specific person to kill because he's on a hunt, just like Predator is. And this guy comes from a planet that's like frozen, so he's like, he has to wear the suit, so anything that he actually touches, he will instantly kill. And his planet's like, well, he can't use any weapons, and he can't use anything like that. He has to actually use, his ability to kill people by touching them. So anyway, we switch back scenes to the actual train, and the Doctor ends up meeting the characters you've already met on the show. The guy that found the spaceship, and the cop, and the other two characters are all on his train. So she kind of tells him that she's an alien, where she came from. Of course, nobody believes her. And so finally, they end up in the warehouse, and they find the creature that came down to Earth, and they see the thing is split open. And the Doctor knows, of course, what this thing is. So they're going to go after it and try to stop this creature. Now, every time the creature kills somebody, the creature takes out some of its teeth. And they're like, well, what are they doing with the teeth? So when you make the big reveal and he pulls his mask off, the creature has teeth stuck all over in his face. I thought, okay, that's interesting. He's sort of taking trophies from his victims like the Predator does. So overall, the episode I thought was really good. It was a very good episode, even though, again, it's kind of borrowed from something else. But anytime you really watch the first episode of a new Doctor, you're always kind of like, okay, it's never really a spectacular episode. It's never really just blows you away that, oh my God, this is like the best Doctor ever. I think the worst one was probably with Matt Smith. It took a long time for, at least me anyway, to get used to Matt Smith and actually like him as a Doctor. But I can tell you that Jodie Whittaker, she's already a fantastic Doctor. She already has, sort of her own attitude that's going on. She has her own sonic screwdriver, which was really cool to see how she made it. And it looks completely different than anything else that's out there from the other Doctors, and it's just a really cool looking design. And the other actors, the companions that she now has, really great actors and a really interesting team of people that she's going to be with. So the things that sort of disappointed me in this episode, and again, it's not so much, about the episode really, is they didn't show the TARDIS. And obviously, they want the fans to wait and see what the TARDIS looks like. And see what the inside of the TARDIS looks like, and see what, all that is going to be involved, because a lot of times, or almost just about all the times, you get to see the TARDIS right away, right in the first episode. They go in there and they introduce you to what it looks like, if it has any changes, and the inside is different or whatever, but she lost the TARDIS. That's the thing, is she doesn't know where the TARDIS is, and it's floating out there somewhere, and she's looking for it. It was a really exciting story. It was. They had some really big action sequences there at the end. It kind of started reminding me a little bit of James Bond action sequences. They've got some really big stuff happening. But as first episodes go, it was good. I mean, you're kind of like, okay, it takes a while for this Doctor to settle in, especially the actor or the actress playing Doctor Who. Like for Peter Capaldi, it took him 3 seasons to figure out his character. And I think by the 3rd season, people really weren't interested in this character anymore because he just couldn't wrap his head around him being a new Doctor. But the 3rd season, he got it. He grew his hair long. He had a great attitude. He was the Doctor. And it was just a phenomenal season. And I don't think a lot of Doctor Who fans even watched it because they lost interest after the first 2 seasons were meh. I don't think that's going to happen with this season. I think this season is going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to have a lot of humor in it. And as always, I think it's going to have some of the darker moments because right in this first episode, this bounty hunter was a pretty creepy character. And I love that. That's one of the things I love about Doctor Who is it likes to get creepy. And there's a lot of episodes of Doctor Who that get dark and gets creepy. And I love that about the show. Overall, first impressions of the new Doctor, love her. I think she's great. I think she's going to be a fantastic Doctor. I think that the companions are going to be really interesting. I can't wait to see where this story goes this season. But as a first episode, it was okay. I mean, I just can't sit here and say, man, I was blown away by it because of it sort of, like I said, borrowing from other stuff. This horror month, this whatever this is now, I am going to be giving Doctor Who, the 13th Doctor, the first episode, a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I am going to be honest about this. If it's a great episode and it's a spectacular episode, I will tell you. I enjoyed this whole episode, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a fun episode. I just can't wait to see more. I want to see the TARDIS. I want to see the opening sequence. I want to hear the theme song. I want to know more about this Doctor. I want to get her to be the Doctor. And because in this episode, she mostly just runs around and just trying to save these people and runs around. And she didn't really settle in yet. That's kind of what I'm waiting for, her just to settle in as the Doctor. So there you go. And unlike The Purge, I will be bringing you this every single week. Every week that the Doctor is on, I will come on here with a brand new episode. And absolutely, it might be late like today, because the Doctor is actually coming on today. Here in the States, they don't come on until 7 o'clock. So I still got a few more minutes here to get this done and upload to you. But yeah, it might be late because of Horror Month. I will be bringing you all 10 episodes of this brand new Doctor. And I cannot wait. I can't wait to go on this new journey. And hopefully you guys cannot wait to go on the journey with me and you hit that subscribe button because it takes a lot of maniacs to run this channel and you guys can be one of them. So all you do is hit that subscribe button. It's that easy and you become one of our maniacs. So I will see you next week with a brand new Doctor Who episode. Until then, enjoy the rest of Horror Month.
Listen.